All right, welcome everybody to the Matinee Review. This is a brand new podcast with a totally unique concept that's never been done before, where two friends talk about things that they enjoy.
Groundbreaking stuff. Groundbreaking stuff.
Yes, nobody's ever done this. Such things as movies, animated movies, comic books, TV shows, video games, the weather, especially here. It's a little warm, but I'll get over it. But yes. My name is Justin.
I am Akili.
Welcome, everyone. This is going to be a fun new ride, a new experience for me, and hopefully a new experience for you, and we can all experience it together.
New experiences of groundbreaking stuff that's never been done before.
That's right. Where people talk about the news that has come the week before, and possibly a couple of weeks before, and then they talk about it and they give their opinions. I think we're going to be onto something, and it might catch on. Others might try this as well.
I think so, and even if so, we're hoping to at least stand out a little bit, and we're very happy that you chose our lovely brains to pick about these topics. So welcome, and I hope I think we're going to do a pretty good job.
I think so. I think we're off to a darn good start. I even said darn just to make sure that I don't offend anyone.
Look at that. We're right in the Captain American language box. It's good. It's good.
That's right. So let's get started on this. Let's see. Angela Bassett is talking about Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, which comes out next July. Actually, we are just under a year away from that. I believe it comes out July 8th or July 9th of next year. She was asked about the script, if they were able to, if she was able to give any type of information on it. And at this point, she basically said that she doesn't even know what the script looks like, because there's been about 5 different rewrites. And she's been informed that there's already another one, sixth one on the way, which I get it. At this point, you got to do this right. You got to pay tribute to Chadwick, because you can't just all of a sudden be like, and he's gone. How do you do this to make it so that way, you don't have him to finish off his character. So how do we do this? So I'm interested to see what they're going to do with it, but I could see why they're on rewrite number 6.
Sure. I mean, no one was prepared for the death of Chadwick Boseman. It hit, and it hits. That's one of those deaths that hit really hard. I mean, every death hits hard, but just as far as especially when you're in the middle of a story, a storytelling process, and then you lose a key figure of that story writing process before it comes to fruition. And it's you want to stay true to the character, and then they've already said they're not going to recast him. So I think, the question is, are they going to say that the Black Panther died in the timeline, or is he just is he gone? Is he in America? Is he doing something? Or is it just that maybe, cause I'm thinking maybe one of the things is that if they do honor his death, and then they have Wakanda and everybody kind of dealing with that. They don't know who's going to be a successor. Nobody wants to do it right away, and no one has a challenge. And then maybe another tribe or something tries to take over, and then Wakanda has to stand together without the key figure being the Black Panther. And then maybe from, and then so Wakanda bands together, all the tribes have to band together, kind of like they did in Endgame, and to take on some kind of outside force. So if you're concentrating more on that instead of the Black Panther went on ahead and did this, it's more no, Wakanda had to band together to this, and we did it in honor of our king. So maybe that's the first thing that pops into my mind as far as okay, that'd be one way to go about it. But yeah, there's lots of different ways you can spin it, and I'm not surprised to hear that there's been 5 and then another script on the way. And then, there's also I'm pretty sure there's a false script out there to mislead people. I mean, there could be a lot of things. So,
right.
Yeah, that's my first story thought about
one of the main rumors that's floating around right now is that the outside force that they're all going to have to team up and fight against is going to be Atlantis with Namor.
Right. They kind of teased that in Endgame, at the beginning of Endgame.
Yes, that there was an earthquake under the ocean,
seismic activity,
or in the ocean.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll see what happens. I'm thinking maybe if they can open it up with the death of Black Panther.
That's what I'm thinking.
At the hands of Namor. And then it's, who is this guy? Where did he come from? And then a war starts, and you're going to have a couple of people going to step up saying, I'm going to be king now. No, you're not. And I'm going to be king. Maybe there'll be challenges throughout those.
Do you think, you maybe not recast him right away, but eventually someone's gonna have to put the mantle of Black Panther on, right?
I mean, they've already said they're not going to recast him, so it's a continuation from here on. People are saying it's going to be Shuri. People are saying it's going to be, I forget his name. Damn it, the Gorilla King.
M'Baku.
M'Baku.
Yeah.
Yes. The white ape. That's they put it. I could see him pulling it off. I could definitely see his sister Shuri doing it.
I think she's the leading vote getter as far as if anybody's going to do it. I think I would say the pulse of the Twitter community, some of the Reddit community that I've seen, they all want Shuri to do it. So, and why not? It's another Disney princess, man.
And I mean, we also did not see his cousin die. I mean, technically, we saw him pull out the spearhead and then fall to the ground. But what's his name? Ross had a bullet in his spine, and then the next morning he woke up and was walking just fine. There's no hole. Everything's just perfectly fine. So theoretically, they could have taken him, put him in a pod, froze him, fixed him, and then he could wake up. Other people are saying that he could possibly take over as Black Panther, with some form of redemption. I don't know. I just don't know. And that's what I love about these. I don't know.
You know what else is crazy? Angela Bassett, Queen Ramonda, I believe is 62 years old, Justice. You wouldn't believe it. She still looks like Tina Turner coming out the runway, man. I love it. Love it. Beautiful. Beautiful lady.
I just watched Out of Sight the other night and then looked up Jennifer Lopez, realizing that she's 51 years old.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you wouldn't believe that either.
No, you wouldn't believe that either.
Not one bit.
It's wonderful.
Good for them. God bless.
Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever. If you're listening to this podcast, I know that you're excited about it. Lord knows we're excited about it. Yabambe. Let's go.
So there was a red carpet premiere for a little movie that's going to be coming out, or it just came out, I believe, yesterday, called Black Widow.
Oh, that little side film. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a little independent flick. Got an up-and-coming actress, Scarlett something Hansen. Scarlett Jo Hansson. She's going to be I think she's going to be a big deal.
Something
But
like that.
Kevin Feige was asked about the Fantastic Four and the possibilities of any type of an announcement happening soon. And he said, well, I would hope maybe soon, but, probably not right now.
That's one of his favorite answers to a lot of things. It's not soon, hopefully soon. And then when he's asked about people coming back, he'll go, well, not soon enough. That's
Right.
his
Well, I mean,
go-to.
I get it. At this point, A, you don't want to ruin anything, and B, he's working on, everything. Like, he's got shit planned out 20 years from now. Like, we got to do this movie in 20 years, and we're going to set it up with something happening in a movie next year. He basically said he doesn't think it's going to be soon, but basically because it was their first red carpet premiere in 2 years, that they're going to focus on that and see what happens at other events. But he hopes it's going to be sometime soon. So,
That's exciting news.
Yeah,
Exciting news.
exciting news. Who knows? Maybe they'll introduce him in Spider-Man. Just all of a sudden have the Fantastic Four show up and then leave and go, who the hell are those?
Well, because isn't it your? Well, I don't know if it's your, but the first time I've heard this idea was from you. But your whole thing about they sell the Avengers Tower, and you're saying that that's Reed Richards is going to buy the Avengers.
I was
Tower.
hoping. I mean, it was perfect. You turn that A into a 4 and you're done. It seemed like the evolution of that tower. It started as Stark. Then it went to, because it got all messed up, just the A being there. And then it turned into the Avengers Tower with the more of the stylized A for Avengers. And then when it got sold, I'm thinking in my head, you just knock off that little leg on the left of that A, and you got yourself a perfect looking 4. And that's it. You're done. It's the tallest building. It's got a landing platform for their little Fantastic Four jet. The 3-seater with that disconnects, and then you got Human Torch flying around the side of it. I thought that would be perfect, but now people are saying that it actually might be Oscorp that bought it. It definitely leaves it open because they're just saying it's been bought, and it looks like there's been some renovation and some changes to the building. But other than that, they've gone into zero detail about it, which I mean, when you set something up like that, it's like we're selling the tower. It's already been sold. We're moving out, blah, blah, blah. But they don't mention anything about it. That right there is Kevin Feige's little Easter egg going, just you wait. Okay. And everybody else is now at this point going, it's Fantastic Four, it's Oscorp, it's this, it's that, who knows? Well, I like that. I like the fact that you can give a little bit of a clue, a little bit of an Easter egg a hint to something that could come, and then you just let the fans go frickin' crazy. Just let loose, and everybody's sitting there going, I wrote my own version, and then they're upset because it's not what they got to see when it came out.
What else did Kevin Feige have anything else to say?
Yeah, he was asked about the future with Scarlett Johansson in the Marvel Universe. I mean, he alluded to the fact that she's possibly going to be staying on with the company to help produce things. She actually ended up producing this last movie, and she brought in the director. So she had some say in what this movie became and how it turned out. So he basically said that Marvel is all about new beginnings, and she was such an amazing partner for us, and that he's excited to continue working with her in any possible way, if they are so lucky.
Nice.
So again, It's Kevin Feige. You know, he's saying things that it's like, I don't, soon. It's his way of saying soon.
Yeah.
And maybe, and who knows. And then all of a sudden we see something happen. People are thinking that she might show up in the Secret Wars as a Skrull.
And why not? Yeah.
And exactly.
I mean, there's probably scores of flashbacks that you can film. You know, I mean, we still have this multiverse of madness coming up. There could be a timeline where she's very much alive or doing something else. Like, I think one of the best things when you already know that, like, hey, we're setting up this whole thing where there's going to be multiverses. You can do a whole bunch of stuff. You know, I mean, I think that she could easily come back as in some form as Black Widow, just a different version of her. You know? And who knows? They might find a way to fucking save her from the Soul Stone, and then she's just back. Who knows?
We'll see. I mean, even if they don't bring her back, she's had a hell of a run when it comes to being in the movies. At the same time, this movie itself, and I'm not going to jump too far into it, but it made me go, okay, I'd like to see more. Mm-hmm. I'd like to see more of her story. It's still, I'll get into it in a bit. We don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves when it comes to Black Widow. Sure. I would like to see her come back, but they've definitely put an ending to her story. Spoiler alert to people who haven't seen Endgame. Don't listen to what I'm about to say, but she dies, and that's it. And there's no bringing her back, and they even say that. That's it.
No resurrection.
Soul for a soul, and this is it.
I was speaking to one person, and they were like, well, what about Gamora? And I'm like, well, you have to remember that that's a different Gamora. They have a way to have her. That's why with the introduction of, like, oh, hey, everybody, here's a multiverse. It's like, it's not out of the realm of possibility, that they could bring a different version of a Black Widow back around and do stuff. So, I mean, hell, we're tolling around with a different Loki right now. So there's a whole, the possibilities seem very endless right now. And they're very smart about how they've been able to do it. But yeah, we could talk more about Black Widow when we get into that. Because I have some other thoughts about that. So, for sure.
Definitely.
Cool.
Let's see. What else is happening in news? Seems Stephen Dorff is bitching.
Deacon Frost is giving people is being cold.
Deacon Frost has got frostbite.
Tell us.
From what I read and what I've heard, he's basically ripped on Black Widow before even seeing it. Just by watching the trailers, he basically said that he was embarrassed for Scarlett Johansson. I would never do any of those movies. I'm embarrassed. I
have the whole thing right here.
I'm paraphrasing. So you have it? Okay, read it.
I still hunt out the good shit because I don't want to be in Black Widow, the True Detective actor told the newspaper. It looks like garbage to me. It looks like a bad video game. I'm embarrassed for those people. I'm embarrassed for Scarlett! ! I'm sure she got paid $5.
Can we pause for a second? Because I don't want to miss this. Did he say that it looks like a bad video game?
Yeah.
Maybe he's bitter about the fact that he did a movie that is basically like a bad video game. But what also is the problem with all of this is the fact that his movie basically started this new line of comic book movies. So you got Blade, and then it brought way to Spider-Man, which then brought way to stuff like Fantastic Four and X-Men and all these other things, or X-Men and Fantastic Four, whatever order you want to go in, whatever order is the correct order. And it just basically his movie, the movie that he starred in, was a template for other movies to come. And he's bitching about the movie that basically he set up.
Yeah, Blade came out. I'm pretty sure Blade came out right before The Matrix did. So I remember sitting in a movie theater, watching The Matrix, and the point comes up where Sir Neo is up there dodging the bullets, doing the whole, and I'm just going, oh, they used that bullet time from Blade, and people go, what do you mean? I'm like, well, Blade did that first. Like, you don't remember in the park when your mascara's running, and he tries to shoot him, and then Stephen Dorff just moves his head to the left, and you see the bullets do the whole trail. It's the bullet time. We've seen this, so.
Right, but with Matrix, they just added more cameras so you can do a 360 around him.
Yeah, they definitely made it look a little cooler, but I'm just, I was one of those people that you just can't get that past me. Like, no, you have to acknowledge that Blade did it first. I don't care, or we will fight.
Yes. Yes, that's the whole thing. Is Blade did it first, and he was a part of that.
But Stephen Dorff had more to say, which is really funny.
Okay.
After the whole bad video game thing, he goes, "I'm sure she got paid $7 million, but I'm embarrassed for her. I don't want to be in those movies. I really don't. I'll find that kid director that's going to be the next Stanley Kubrick, and I'll act for him instead."
I mean,
said Stephen Dorff.
Said Stephen Dorff. She probably got $5-6 million, but I'm not going to do one of those movies. I mean, if they offered him $5 or $6 million, don't you think he'd probably do one of those movies? Like, hey, we're going to pay you $6 million to be in a movie where we get you jacked, and you have a possibility of doing 3 more, and we're going to pay you $5 to $6 million on just your first one. I think he would do it. I could be wrong, but I think he would do it.
Well, you know. I mean, Stephen Dorff has better, decisions to make, like being in movies like Sex Guaranteed and
we got the filmography.
Leatherface and Jackals, Wheeler and American Hair. I mean, all fine films, I'm sure, fine things here, but none of them are probably going to get you that $5 to $7 million. And then, I again, yeah, it looks like a video game to me. And so what, Stephen? So what if it looks like video game? Why would you be embarrassed to be in a video game movie? You're Deacon Frost.
But my question is, why is he embarrassed for somebody else at this point? It's like,
especially Scarlett
fucking
Johansson.
focus on you, buddy. Like she's doing her thing. What are you embarrassed for Chris Hemsworth? Are you embarrassed for Chris Evans? These characters, these guys. Are you embarrassed for Hugh Jackman? I mean, okay, maybe for Wolverine Origins. Other than that, the guy got A, paid, and B, it got a franchise. Whatever. I think the guy's just jealous. That's just my opinion. He's saying that he's embarrassed. I think he's jealous because he's not getting the roles that all these other guys are getting. And it's like, okay, but don't say that you're embarrassed for other people because they're in a movie that at this point is probably going to make about $90 million this weekend alone. It already made $13 million on Thursday, and he's saying that he's embarrassed for her. So he can just keep being embarrassed for other people when he should just focus on himself. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong.
No, I think that Stephen Dorff either reached out to people at Marvel or vice versa. They reached out to him, and I think that at some point maybe he was asked to maybe do something. Maybe they were like, oh, do you want to be a part of something? And maybe they had something worked out and they decided to go another way. And yeah, he might be a little like, I'd be embarrassed to be in those films. It's like, nah, you're gonna take your money because everybody's in these films. You know what I mean? If Kate Blanchett can do these films, you can do these films, Stephen Dorff.
Anthony Hopkins.
If Anthony Hopkins can do these films, you can do these films, Stephen Dorff.
Are you embarrassed for Anthony Hopkins?
Samuel L. Jackson had a 9-movie deal at one point. Like, that was big money. Like, you're gonna do a Marvel movie. Hell, Matt Damon shows up for a second.
Word has it that Matt Damon showing up in Ragnarok or in Love and Thunder as well.
Look at that. So like, I think to go ahead and then. This has been like a 10-year thing. Why are you waiting until 2021 and then shitting on Black Widow?
Because she has her own movie now.
Why is that the one you pick? And you're like, I'm embarrassed for these movies. Like, really? Like for this one? like this is the one you didn't like? when everybody was hating on like the second Thor, you didn't say anything, Stephen Dorff. Now that movies have made the second Thor kind of good, and Black Widow's the one you want to shit on. Like Scarlett Johansson's your pick. Like, okay, did she turn you down for a date? Did you ask for a number and she said no? Are you feeling a certain way?
Whatever it is, it's not embarrassment.
Well, I'll tell you what, you know who can talk themselves out of a Marvel check real quick is Stephen Dorff, because they won't call him.
No, because they don't want him to be embarrassed. Moving on. Last of Us has begun production, the video game for PlayStation. Exclusive video game for PlayStation. I have not played The Last of Us because I do not have a PlayStation. The last PlayStation I owned was a PlayStation 2.
We're working on that though. We're working on that as we speak. We're gonna up your PlayStation game in no time flat.
This guy is buying me a PlayStation. Well, maybe not buying me, but he's at least getting me a PlayStation, and I am paying him back. But what? The love I feel in this place. I tell you.
Yeah, of course. Of course, you're my guy. So here's a cool thing about Last of Us. I have not played Last of Us, but I think, as you know, I listened to, I think I've told you a couple times, the Critical Role, the streaming Dungeons and Dragons game, and a couple of voice actors do that. So one of the main voice actresses is a young lady named Ashley Johnson, who was the waitress lady. For those who don't watch Critical Role, who watch like the Marvel movies, if you want to know who Ashley Johnson is, she's the waitress who's like, yeah, Captain America saved me. She's that chick. And she makes a small appearance in one of the Loki episodes, because when they do his whole flashback, like they stop right on her face and stuff. And I was like, oh, look, it's Ashley Johnson. Cool. She does the voice for one of the main chicks in Last of Us. And another young lady, Laura Bailey, who also does Critical Roles in Last of Us Part 2. It's really just about this guy and this girl, and they're surviving, and it's another one of those things where it's like you're really more looking out for other, you're watching out for other humans than you are like zombies or any other kind of other crazy thing that's going on, because that's the real kind of threat. And it's supposed to be this really good story, and especially The Last of Us Part 2. I think it won all sorts of these video game awards, and I know that like Ashley Johnson, I think, won an award for her acting in it, and it's supposed to be this really good thing. So once I heard about Last of Us becoming this production, I kind of turned a deaf ear to it only a little bit, because I was like, man, I really want to try to play these games now. So I am going to probably within the next week buy them and just play them so I can get a good sense of like all that's going to be coming. But I heard nothing but really, really good things.
Yeah, well, I mean, we got a heck of a cast, starting off with Gabriel Luna, the actor who was Ghost Rider in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show, and also the Terminator in the recent Terminator movie. He's good. Okay. And you've got, he's playing Tommy. I don't know who these characters are. I know I wrote down the names. I just don't know who they are. So we got Gabriel Luna as Tommy, Nico Parker as Sarah, and Mandalorian's own Pedro Pascal. This guy is not going to stop working, I guess, is playing Joel.
Joel is the main, I know Joel's the main guy. If it's the guy and the girl in The Last of Us, Joel's the main male character. So that I do know.
Okay. Well, that's in production now. And all I know is that the game I've heard is really good and absolutely tragic.
Yeah, I hear be prepared to get like, I'm talking about like on some pissed off level when certain characters die. You're going to get really mad, from what I understand.
Sounds perfect for HBO. Absolutely perfect for them, because they know that through many TV shows, a lot of people have gotten really angry when certain characters died. I would just mention Game of Thrones for one of them.
Game of Thrones is the main one. That's the one. That's the one.
Last of Us, HBO. It's coming soon.
Yeah, and so what I'll do is hopefully by the next time we do one of these, because hell, I may even buy I may even buy the first Last of Us today. So I may even get around to playing it this evening. Who knows? But
look at you.
Well, I have a little bit of money in my account. I've already paid my rent. Life's good.
There it is.
So, hopefully we'll have a kind of I can give you like a non-spoiler kind of thing, because I know you probably want to play the game, good sir. So I'll kind of give a non-spoiler, like, oh, hey, everybody, this is The Last of Us is a real tearjerker. Get ready for it.
Dig it.
Cool.
Well, moving on. We've got we've definitely seen some trailers lately. First one, Masters of the Universe.
Masters
Revolution.
of the
What is it?
Universe.
Revelation. Masters of the Universe. Revelation.
For people that are fans of Clerks and Mallrats,
And anything Kevin Smith has done.
Kevin Smith is involved in this, and also Mark Bernardin, who's a really good writer, and also does the Fat Man Beyond podcast, which Justice and I both love very much. Shout out to Fat Man Beyond.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited for a person that's was not a He-Man fan at all. Just nobody I knew really watched it, and it just wasn't appealing to me off bat. Growing up,
I think I had a couple of the toys.
I think I
about it.
might have had an action figure. I think like my grandmother might have bought one for me just because He-Man was popular with the kids. And it's like, oh, it's He-Man, get him a He-Man thing. And I saw it, and I was like, oh, okay, great, and great. And for a long time, I just thought it was Conan. I was like, is this a knockoff Conan? Because I know Conan. Conan's cool. But this looks really fun. Like, fun. And animation's really clean. Like, it's a good looking just product. So I'm excited I'm going to have to go ahead and borrow Mom's login because I'm not paying for Netflix. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. But
There's
I'm
so
gonna go
much
ahead
shit
and-
coming out on Netflix.
I'm going to go ahead and get a login and just and use that because, yeah, Netflix is amped up. For a while, I was like, okay, I don't really need it. But then all of a sudden, they're like, we have this coming, this coming, this coming. It's like, damn, these actually look really good.
Yeah,
So,
no, I end up canceling my Netflix, and then like a month later, everything's gonna come out like week after week after week of stuff that I could enjoy.
Yeah.
And at this point, I'm going, I think I'm gonna have to go with HBO Max at this point. Just stick with them because I like being able to watch a movie at home instead of going out during a pandemic. Or I guess we're not. We're still in a pandemic, folks. I don't care what anybody says.
please
Even if you've been vaccinated.
Please keep wearing masks and get vaccinated and protect each other, love each other. Like, do the right thing. Don't be dumb.
Yes. So, what was I saying?
We
What were we even talking about? I went to masks and realized that
Masters of the Universe.
just letting you know, folks, we're going to trail off every now and then. All right. So, Masters of the Universe Revelation looks good. As
does.
Kevin Smith put it, they basically did the animation to look the way that we remembered it in our heads. You can go back and watch it, and you can realize that nobody's probably moving that much. But then when you think about the way you watched it, you're like, oh, there's all these action scenes and this happened, but really it didn't. So they said, let's make it look like that. Let's make it look like we remembered it as kids. Because there's many shows I can go back and watch now, and I remember a lot more movement, a lot more animation, and then you watch it and you go, oh no, there's a lot less.
You did a lot of filling in the blanks in your head.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Until Batman the Animated Series.
Oh boy.
They even do it now with certain things. Just you got the character standing still, but the mouth is moving. Maybe the eyes look a certain way, but you save money if you don't make them move. So other than that, I'll watch it at some point. I'm not going to turn my Netflix on back right now.
My mom loves you, man. You just use her login. It'll be fine.
Maybe we'll find out.
I'll convince her. It'll be cool. We'll be all right. Mom, if you're listening, you expect a call. Or I imagine by the time you're listening to this, it's already happened. So actually, I'll just say thank you, Ma. Thank you for the Netflix login. I appreciate it because I know you're gonna do it. Love you.
Thanks, Ma. Next one, we have Star Wars Visions.
Yo, I didn't even know this was.
cool.
I didn't even know this was a thing till you sent it to me, and I am super juiced. I'm super juiced
Yeah.
about this. This is gonna be really good.
Did you ever see the Batman Tales of? Let me get it off the shelf. Hold on a second, folks. I'll be right back. I gotta figure
Perfect.
out the name of this thing.
Perfect time to shout out our sponsor, Chantam. Chantams. You can get all. Come on.
Channing Tatum's brought up. Channing Tatum's opened up his own new barbecue shop, folks. Chantams. Come on down to Chantams. We got barbecue ribs, we got chicken, we got balloons for the kiddies.
Batman Gotham Knight. Did you ever see that one? It was basically a combination of 6 short stories
No.
done with different Japanese animators.
Oh no! So this is a thing that has happened before. Well, it's Batman, but
Well, yes,
not
this
Star
has
Wars.
happened before.
But okay.
They did it with Batman.
Okay.
They did it with another one, I believe, as well. They did it with Matrix.
Yeah, the Animatrix. Yeah. But I'm super juiced for a Star Wars thing because I've always kind of in the back, well, I'm not the only one, I'm sure, but I've always kind of in the back of my mind thought of Star Wars as you're as close to like space samurais as you can probably get. And so now there's going to be a literal Jedi samurai.
Yes.
I think there's a couple stories looks like they're going to do it like that. So I'm really excited to see like a Japanese style like samurai movie with steeped in like those traditions and that storytelling, but with like lightsabers and force powers. And I think it's going to be two things that like Star Wars, samurai shit. Put it together. What do you get? You get Star Wars samurai shit. It's awesome.
Absolutely perfect. I can't wait to see just the different incarnations of the lightsabers. Their versions of it, because I've already seen from the trailer. It looks like there's some people are doing just it's a plain old sword, but it's either red or it's green or it's blue, or shall I say blade shaped, but it's made of light. So they keep the traditional look of the samurai sword.
And it's still like the metal hilt, but it has like the samurai style wrapping still around it and whatnot. And it's
Right. They even mentioned, this one guy was talking about, it's like really loved lightsabers and now I get to do my own version of it. I get to put my own spin on it, my own twist. Another artist was talking about how he's always loved Star Wars, and he was very happy that he got to do one.
Yeah, I saw that little thing.
project.
I was like, oh, check that out, man. I think that'd be really cool. And we're
Just
going to get a
an
Jar
effect
Jar
around
Binks
the world.
replacement.
Jar Jar Binks animated series, folks. It's coming out on Disney
Jar Jar
Plus,
Binks, Secret of the Sith.
next year.
That's what it's going to be.
Did you hear about this new podcast talking about the Jar Jar show?
It's the one where they actually revealed that he's been a Sith master this whole time. Like it, yeah, of course.
That's right. So that looks good. Very interested in seeing that. That's, again, going to be coming out on Disney Plus. So good times on that. Next trailer, we have Mortal Kombat Battle of the Realms, sequel to the recent Mortal Kombat animated movie, Scorpion's Revenge. I picked that one up and I actually enjoyed it.
Battle of the Realms is going to be better than the recent Mortal Kombat live action movie that just came out because Battle of the Realms will actually have the Mortal Kombat tournament in it.
Right. Well, the Mortal Kombat movie that just came out basically was a 2-hour trailer for a Mortal Kombat movie, just not showing you all the good stuff, even while watching the damn movie. What a waste of time that movie was. I'm really not going to spend too much time on it.
It's worth it for those first 15 minutes. That's about it. That opening scene is what, like, it's so much of one of those things where it's like, man, it's what you wanted the whole movie to kind of be. That whole pacing, that whole feel.
Absolutely.
And then it goes downhill really fast.
I mean, just the action that Scorpion was pulling. I mean, the moves he was pulling as just a regular human being before he, gains powers and goes to the hell realm or whatever it is. I am so into Mortal Kombat. Nobody knows Mortal Kombat more than me. But he was able to hold his own, and even against a guy who has ice powers and to be able to see even an hour of a period piece, it would have been better than what we got. And I'll say this, everybody shits on that first one that came out in the 90s, and they say that this one is better. I'm in a different reality, I guess. I personally like action that doesn't have to rely on the special effects when it comes to martial arts movies. If you're going to do it, choreograph some shit and really make it so people are impressed with some moves, because if you're just going to do the basics of the basics and then rely on the special effects to fill in the blanks, people have already seen the basics of the basics. If you can get people like Keanu Reeves and Lawrence Fishburne to pull off martial arts moves where you look at them and you go, they've been doing this for a while, but they've only been doing it for 6 months, then there should be no excuse for a movie like Mortal Kombat to have shit choreography. And I'll leave it at that. But going back to the cartoon, I've done quite well. I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny, and it was brutal. They didn't shy away from the blood in that movie, that show.
I mean, it's Mortal Kombat. I mean, we're talking about a game that had all that controversy when it first came out because parents were freaking out because, there was, oh my God, there's blood and the guy rips his head out of his spine. And kids were like, well, yeah, it's called Mortal Kombat. They didn't bury the lead here.
Right.
I'm excited. There was one clip where that I finally think that I love the little small scene where you can see that Jax turns his arm from a cannon back into a mechanical hand, and I was like, whoa, okay, good, finally. Like a little bit of, yeah, because they keep telling us the dude can shoot fireballs from these freaking things, but every time we see him, he's just like, nope, it gathers, okay, well, it's have it turn into a freaking cannon. Like, what are we talking about here? It's about freaking time. Or we could go the opposite route and have him be small, puny baby arms, and then he gets his chi, and then he gets big metal arms. And you're like, that's the power? But we already said we're not talking about that movie.
His power is
so
getting better arms. We'll have to rip on that movie at some point. We'll have to go back and just rip on it.
We should do like a mystery science theater thing. Watch it and just comment on it as it's going, and we can just comment. We'll just break it down as we watch it. I think that'd be fun.
All right, it's a must do because woof. Another trailer that dropped is What If?
Now,
the What If trailer, but let's get into that one in a little bit.
Sure.
Because it basically, I mean, we're just get into the main subject of this whole thing, which is 2021 being the year of Marvel. Due to the pandemic, everything had to be pushed back, and because of that, oh boy, we're getting one thing after another. People were going, oh my God, we're getting 2 Marvel movies a year.
Yeah.
Back in the day, we're like, we're getting 3 this year. We've already had WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We're right now on Loki. Black Widow came out last night. Then after this, we have the What If cartoon coming out in August. And then we have so much coming out. Let's start with WandaVision. I thought that was great. It was a lovely little nod to every style of sitcom that came before, and they did so well. Every episode I was sitting there going, well, it seems like Malcolm in the Middle. It seems like a Nick at Night show, a Dick Van Dyke and I Love Lucy, that feel to it. That was great. I don't know what was your opinion on the show?
I was one of those kids that I grew up watching Nickelodeon and Nick at Night and all that, and so when I was a child, I actually really fell in love with the show I Love Lucy. I just thought it was really funny, just genuinely just funny. Just made me laugh as I was a kid. So when I first saw the original premise for WandaVision, even not knowing what it was going to be about, I was like, okay, well, they're going to kind of do this spoof I Love Lucy kind of thing. All right. I'm intrigued. This intrigues me, I thought that, and then starting to watch it, I was like, oh, yeah, this is neat. And then as that show started to unfold and you see the different kind of charmers that they were doing every week, I was like, okay, this is really clever. This is really clever, especially when it all wraps up and you find out why it's kind of going down like that. Don't want to give too spoilers away. There still might be some people that haven't jumped on the train yet, even though it's like, man, it's rolling. You better jump on it fast. When you find out why it's progressing like that, it's like, this was really, really well done for the show that I was like, I don't know if I'll be honest with you. When I first heard of it, I was like, I don't even know if I'm really going to watch WandaVision. I was like, I'll catch the play-by-play because I was like, I don't think I'm very interested. And then I got sucked in real quick, just like everybody else. So
and going back to the whole pandemic thing and things being moved back, Falcon and the Winter Soldier was supposed to come out before.
That was supposed to be the first one, yeah.
It was supposed to be Falcon and the Winter Soldier and then WandaVision. But instead we got WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki, and then Black Widow. So I guess the order that they were going to be going in, it didn't really matter. Or it did. I don't
see how, now that it's unfolded, I don't really see what would have been the big whoop about Falcon Winter Soldier going first.
Well,
I think it played
there
out
was
okay.
a character that showed up in Falcon and Winter Soldier, I believe, that wasn't supposed to show up in Falcon and Winter Soldier until everything got pushed back, but we'll talk about that when we get into spoilers for Black Widow. Okay. So moving on to, I guess, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, that right there I enjoyed quite a bit as well, because it was definitely the lethal weapon of the Marvel universe, where you have the bickering between the two characters was perfect. It just seemed very Riggs and Murtaugh, except the roles were reversed. I would say that Bucky was more Murtaugh and Falcon was more Riggs. I'd have to watch the show again because I remember thinking that. Why am I thinking that? Okay. Now I remember. I remember why. Because you got Bucky pretty much saying, "I'm too old for this shit," and you got Falcon, going for I'm gonna take these risks.
And also touching on the other, you know, what some might call the elephant in the room, and that they finally just put it down there, where it's just like, well, you know, for the people that are like, well, Captain America can't be black, and it's like, well, should Captain America be black? You know, I mean, is that a thing that a black man would want even to be or to represent, given that all that this country has done to people of color and this and that? So I'm really happy that they touched on that. And like, I love that scene where they're in the middle of the street fighting, and it's like, oh God, I didn't recognize you without the mask on. You know, those real life situations being played out. And I'm glad Marvel is not afraid to touch these issues, and and not afraid, but to put some of them to the forefront, where it's just like, well, yeah, no, we have to talk about this. This is a thing that, you know, happened in fiction. Like, oh yeah, they tried to bury, you know, the original super soldiers just because he was black, but like, you know, there's countless scores of real life things that try to get buried. You know, look at the Tuskegee experiments and all sorts of other things, where it's just like, you know, these things were done and they tried to get buried, and, you know, we should bring some of these things to light. So I thought that was also a really good just thing that I'm glad that they touched on regarding that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it definitely is also setting up a whole other team when it comes to these past couple of series.
Oh,
and
don't we know recruitment is happening
in that aspect as well? But I'm going to say this: you got the two kids from WandaVision, right? That were, of course, you know, spoilers, not real. But when she at the end, spoilers, she ends up hearing the two of them crying out for her, and it was definitely okay, she's going to go off and find them now. So you got the two kids, you got the speedster, and you've got the sorcerer. And then you have the grandson of the second Captain America. He ends up becoming Patriot in the comic books. In this, there's other characters coming, and they're basically setting up the Young Avengers. It's going to be a TV show. We'll get into more of Loki next week. We'll do the whole recap of the series. But when you introduce young, kid Loki, it just immediately goes, okay, yeah, they're setting up the Young Avengers. You're going to have young villains. You're going to have all these. It's going to happen. So I'm digging that. Loki's great. We'll talk more about that next week. But let's get into Black Widow. It made it. We saw it. We watched it. I enjoyed it. What did you think?
Black Widow. I don't care what Deacon Frost says. There's no reason to be embarrassed for Scarlett Johansson for this movie. And yeah, it looks like a video game movie. You know why it looks like a video game movie? Because it's a fucking comic book movie, Stephen Dorff. I mean, it's what comic book movies are kind of supposed to look like. If we're out here having fun, which we did. I think this movie was fun. I thought the one thing that they might do is I'll say it like this. Even as graphic or as like deep as what the Red Room did to the girls or to these women, as I thought they'd go, even their most kind of graphic part still had this big comedy bit about it when she's like, oh no, I can't have kids, because they're moving ovaries.
Yeah.
Where they go in there and they chop them up. And
yeah. That was definitely the moment where, like, when he has his, like, are you on that time of the month?
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't get that time of the month anymore. You can't. It's impossible. They literally reached up and they cut out all the pieces and then they scooped them out. And he's like, all right.
Don't have to be so clinical and nasty.
It was definitely one of those moments where a father, and I have to assume, but it's always in shows and movies, where a father is hearing his daughter talk about her period, and he's just like, I can't do this. I gotta go. No, that was great. But non-spoilers, story-wise, how'd you like the story?
Story-wise, I thought it was really neat. I like the idea that, especially when we're talking about Black Widow's character in general, it's, from the very first time we saw her when she pops up in the Iron Man movie, that you know, with every movie we get to know a little more and more about her. And then, you know, because she doesn't really reveal a whole lot about herself. You know, we know that, you know, I mean, unless she's you know, when she's not talking to Hawkeye, because that's when you maybe find out the most about her. She's talking to somebody she kind of know. Everybody else she kind of is getting to know, and then maybe a little bit when she talks to Bruce, but, you know, and then eventually after, kind of toward the end when she started talking to Cap, but that's already after she'd been around for a little while. So here was a time when they really touch on this trope of like, you know, family and this whole thing about like, yeah, well, you had this family, but turns out this family's not your real family, a family you kind of adopted. And then, you know, that's kind of her whole life with the Avengers. And then we see in this movie, like, yeah, at one point she had this other kind of situation where it was like, oh no, here's a family, and it's not true. But then, you know, you can't get away from that aspect. You see, once they all got back together, they fell into these real, like that scene when they're all sitting at the dinner table, when he's putting the costume, when he finally gets the costume on, and it's that whole just like, Natasha, don't
trailer,
slouch.
Folks, don't worry. He's not ruining anything.
No, yeah, you can see that in the trailer. But it's like that whole, like, Natasha, don't slouch. Like, I don't slouch. Like, listen to your mother. Sit up straight. It's just they fall into these, for something that wasn't real, they fell into these very familiar family instances. And I thought that was a really good thing to touch on with Natasha Romanoff's character, where it's like, yeah, well, she will do for everything, for all the bad that she's done. You can clearly see that she wants to just kind of do good and wants to, you know, help out. You know, once she finds out that the Red Room is real, she's like, well, we have to shut it down, you know. Right. Especially her sister makes that crack, like, I kept waiting to hear about Captain America brings down the Red Room. And the instant she hears that, she's like, wait, that's still a thing? Well, we have to stop that. Like, instantly. So I thought the story was great. I think the introduction of the quote unquote little sister, who I think is probably going to be, well, we'll wait till we're actually doing spoilers thing, and then we'll talk about her. I mean, I'll just answer the question on the table. I thought the story was really good for something that I didn't know where they would go, and they were just like, oh, this takes place around the time of Civil War. It's like, okay, for not knowing how they were going to tell that story, it's like, okay, I think they did an excellent job. It's good connective tissue.
Acting wise, everybody was great. I didn't at one point sit there and kind of go, I don't like this character, I don't like this actor. Everybody did great. There was no miscasting. I guess that's what I wanted to say. Everybody played their roles perfectly to the point where you believed them, and I'm stuttering right now because my brain it's really freaking hot in here.
I think that what I did, because I watched it twice. And I thought the first time I watched it, I was like, Rachel Weisz seems a little stiff. But then the second time I was like, oh, right. that's the point of her character. Like,
right.
like
I thought the same thing.
Like when she's just like, you don't have your piece. And it's just like, oh, or like the part where she's just like, clearly I'm injured. Like, it's very right. stiff, but that's the point. It's like, okay, this is pretty funny, actually. Like, I enjoyed that. So I thought everybody's acting was great. I thought David Harbour, once his reintroducing, once you see him and he's sitting there and they're doing the arm wrestling scene and his whole opening thing, like once he fully embraces like that Red Guardian character, and he's just fully been like, fuck it, I've been in jail this whole time. Like he's really funny. Like he shines in this movie. Yeah, I think he's really good.
I agree. I think if anybody stole the show, it's definitely David Harbour when he was there. But I think the person who stole the show the most was, why can't I remember her name? I'm really good with this whole podcast thing right now. Episode 1, folks. Episode 2 will be way better. The actress who plays, let's just get into spoilers. The soundtrack was good. It was a good send off, but I can't say any of these things without getting into spoilers. So
you're trying to talk. You're talking about the young lady who plays the little sister. Yeah,
yes.
Florence Pugh is her name.
Florence Pugh.
She plays Yelena. Florence Pugh was in Midsommar. That was my first time seeing her. Good little horror flick. If anybody's out there likes little horror films, go watch Midsommar.
So if you are listening to this and you have not seen it yet, either turn it off or skip ahead. I will have some kind of a time code in the description below. But for right now, we're going to get into spoilers. So you don't want to hear it. You might want to fuck off. So 3, 2, 1.
Spoiler!
Or his 3, 2, 1 spoilers. Whee! I think she stole the show. Florence Pugh definitely stole the show when it came to not only her character, but the bickering, the sibling bickering between the two of them was so spot on, to the point where one of my absolute favorite things of her character was how she made fun of her older sister being an Avenger when it comes to her posing.
What is the thing?
She's
what
like, what
is
do
the
you-
thing you do
Yeah,
with
when
the
you-
arm
when
and
you-
the hair? What is it?
You whip your hair
The
back
fighting
like this.
pose.
You just
What is
whip
this?
It back. Yes.
Such a
Yes,
pose.
you're a poser.
Yeah.
You're a total poser. That's why I enjoy these Marvel movies, because they acknowledge the things that are campy and that some actors might be embarrassed about. Does that ring back to anything
Yes.
about somebody being embarrassed by something? Had he seen the movie, you see, he saw the trailer where he sees her land on the walkway and then whips her hair back, and then in the movie they actually make fun of that.
Right.
And now for him to say, oh, I'm embarrassed for her, and then that happens in the movie, I'm embarrassed for him now, because he's going to look really freaking stupid when it comes to saying that without having seen the fact that I mean, maybe he hasn't seen all the other Marvel movies, but they always acknowledge the camp.
Mm-hmm.
They always do. I mean, when you have Thor, you got Tony Stark calling him Point Break because he has his hair looking like frickin', one of the characters in the movie Point Break. So it just, and to have him acknowledge that movie, it sets everything perfectly when it comes to the era that he grew up in and the time that we're in during these movies. So yeah, she definitely stole the show when it came to her character, which is fine and probably very intentional due to the fact that she's probably the next Black Widow.
She's for sure the next Black Widow, because when she hunts down Hawkeye, and Hawkeye has to explain to her what really happened, then he's gonna do the whole, you can just join the team.
It just immediately sets up this whole drama of her hunting down the killer of her sister, and then him having to just like go, no, you don't understand. I wanted it to be me. I can't wait for that scene where she realizes like that he was intending on it being 100% him at the bottom, splat, just a giant puddle of Hawkeye.
I didn't kill your sister. She saved my life. That whole fucking thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So that when I saw that I was excited for that, and B, I'm excited for the fact that either they're setting up the Dark Avengers or they're setting up the Thunderbolts, because you have U.S. Agent and you have Black Widow. So you have these two people who want to be heroes who are going to be pulled into a villain's team. I can see U.S. Agent going a little more batshit than Yelena, because she seems like she's got a little bit more of a head on her shoulder. Yeah, I'm curious to see what direction they're going to be taking these characters in. Who else is she going to recruit over the next 5-6 movies, whatever it may be? There's theories going around that she's working for Nick Fury, doing all the recruitment for him while he's out doing whatever he's doing in space. And when I thought about that, I went, I don't think Nick Fury would try to have Hawkeye killed. I don't think he would look for
I think Nick Fury is trying to monitor the fucking Skrulls. He's trying to monitor the secret war or whatever that's coming. I think that's what he's doing in space.
He's doing that.
Because I know Miss Marvel's getting a show, right? So he's bound to pop back up.
Miss Marvel's getting a show. Captain Marvel's getting another movie, and it's going to be called The Marvels.
Yeah.
So that's going to have all three of them. It'll have Monica Rambeau, Kamala Khan, and Captain Marvel, because her name's so freaking memorable.
I like that they've stuck with this familiar like Marvel font. Like when you see like Ohio and Red Room, it's this big, it's on. I call it Marvel font because I feel like they've used it ever since Civil War. Yeah, I feel like they've stuck with this whole big like boom. Boom, this is where you are. Boom, look at this. So I thought that was cool. I like the callback to when they were kids and she was like, we're both upside down. I thought that was pretty cool at the end when she finds her. The picture book in the beginning, how she wanted to take it, and she was like, no, leave it. And then she ended up turning around and taking it after the fact because she had it at the end of the day, the little pictures with them in it shit. I thought that was cool. We talked about the soundtrack. I thought the significance of using The Day the Music Died for like her favorite song, and like when they were each instant it was being played, it was a very significant moment. Because, you know, they're driving away and it's like, bye bye, Miss American Pie. They're like leaving America, leaving this life that they know, like, this will be the day that I die. This is the day that her life changed and all that. Right. So I thought that was just really significant. And like the callback when he wait. So I reach in, okay, the frostbite at that temperature is dire. My father go toilet on my hands. It's 35 degrees Celsius. Like, what? How is that relevant? You know? Fathers. Yes. Then to just have her go like, see, you don't really care. And then he starts singing that song. And it's like, you know.
You skipped the part where she said, you don't care. You just want to tell stories about the time when you were Crimson Dynamo.
No, I have that. And it was just later down in the thing. But yeah, that was great.
Right. Yeah. The fact that they mentioned that, and he's just sitting there, you know, he's got that quick little moment of red guardian. Yeah. you could see him like going, I'm not Crimson Dynamo.
Right.
I am Red Guardian.
Right. Even I was sitting there watching it with Kayla. Even Kayla was like, he's gonna correct her.
Yep. And Crimson Dynamo was actually
Crimson Dynamo was a whole nother character, right? Like
he was, but they did a combination of Crimson Dynamo and Whiplash for Iron Man 2. They put those two characters together.
That's what Mickey Rourke's character?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I have a note that says shoot the tires, and that's because I always have this thing when I'm watching like police chases or anything like that, and I'm like, why don't they shoot the tires to stop the car? And I put that down because when they're running away from the plane, how he makes the last crash is he shoots the tire of the fucking Jeep. It skids over, hits the one, and they're able to get away. Mm-hmm. Shoot the tires. It's just
shoot the tires.
I have a note that just says General Ross, and I think I have that because I'm just like, man, look, it's General Ross. Look at him. And I like that little thing. She's like, you look like you need some bed rest. Aren't you on your third triple bypass? And then the very next shot they show of him, even I'm going like, yeah, he looks old, man.
Yeah.
He's looking old, man.
Well, I think they're really wanting to show you that, because I think he's going to eventually go, okay, I can't get to the point where like, I can't even walk anymore.
What's Ross's end game though? Like what's his end game? Like he reminds me of the dude from National Treasure, where Harvey Keitel, when Nicolas Cage is always just like, well, I don't want to go to jail, and he's like, somebody's got to go to jail, Ben.
Right.
Like he just wants to put somebody in jail. That's all. Like Ross wants to catch someone. So we already got Falcon. We got this guy. We got the incredible shrinking convict.
Right. Yeah, I think they're basically setting up the fact that he's eventually, possibly, if they're going this route, going to be the Red Hulk, because he's getting to a point where if he can hardly walk. He's using a cane. He's gone his third triple bypass. He's deteriorating.
He's looking frail, man. I couldn't even tell if that was like if they added like CGI to make him look frail, or if I forget the actor's name now, or if he's just looking that old now. I mean, I know he's old, but still, like.
Well, he's no spring chicken, but
sure,
but
still,
he didn't look that old in Civil War.
That's what I'm saying. Like he just looked like he would be like for the age that he is. Like I feel like they maybe like put some deceleration age. He looked frail. He like, especially right after she says the line, like, aren't you on your third triple bypass? It's like they shoot him in a way where she's looking straight forward, and you're almost like, yeah, he's looking old. He's looking bad. Like, yeah, it looks like something's wrong and shit. Like, yeah.
So, setting up the Dark Avengers or the Thunderbolts, he would be the Hulk, because he becomes the Red Hulk in the comic books. So, if they were to go with the route of setting up the opposite Avengers, the Dark Avengers or the Thunderbolts team, there's your Hulk. So you got your Captain America, you have your Black Widow. If they add in Taskmaster, because we're in spoilers, Taskmaster doesn't die, then there's your Hawkeye, or there's your Black Panther, or there's your whoever the fuck Taskmaster wants to dress as, or, portray themselves as. So, or portray. I just think I said betray.
He wants to betray themselves. Really fuck themselves over.
Snitch on himself.
Yeah. But I think that with Ross, I really think they're setting up the Red Hulk with him
Okay.
because it would be really easy to do. You have frail looking. I can't do this anymore. Thunderbolt Ross, and nobody would suspect that he's the Red Hulk. Who? How? That guy, the Red Hulk? No way! No! No! Until finally the big reveal, as he, comes back from being the Hulk, that it's Thunderbolt Ross the entire time, and I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for you damn kids.
Yeah. Well, that was a good.
Yeah.
The Taskmaster thing was a good segue into my Taskmaster note, which is I loved how she was watching Civil War footage at the very beginning, and then I tried to mark all the different styles you saw. So you saw Black Widow, Captain America, Hawkeye, and Black Panther, all within the repertoire of Taskmaster throughout the movie. I thought it was fantastic.
I did too, but I'll say this because I wrote that down as a note for at least the first fight with Black Widow and Taskmaster. I wish that was
When they're on the bridge?
Yeah, I wanted that to be a little longer. They could have. I think if they had just stretched that out a little bit more and really focused on the different fighting styles, just give you a little bit more time of Captain America, a little bit more time of Hawkeye. I think maybe, I don't know, finding a way to tweak the soundtrack for each style of fighting.
Huh.
So when you got the Captain America style, maybe tweak the soundtrack to give a little bit more of that Captain America style Avenger soundtrack. And when you got Black Panther, give us a little bit more of that couple of notes from the Black Panther soundtrack. Just do that so that way while the fighting happens, all of a sudden, if you're not noticing it with just the style of the action, once the soundtrack comes on, you go, okay, why am I hearing Black Panther? Oh, wait a minute. I get it. This person's fighting like Black Panther now, or this person's fighting like Captain America now. When she was trying to stab him with the knife, and he does that quick spin and kind of pushes her arm down with his knee and braces it between her arm, between the concrete and his knee and everything, that felt very Hawkeye to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I wish I'd seen more of it, especially when Taskmaster's fighting Red Guardian, David Harbour's character. Once those claws come out of the hands, I was like, okay, here we go, and then it cuts away. I want to see more. I want to see more of that action. Really, really sell the fact that this character has the ability to be able to fight like anybody. If Taskmaster watched a Bruce Lee movie, Taskmaster would know everything that Bruce Lee could do. Would just be able to do it.
Right.
So being able to flesh that out more, unless they have more plans for her.
Yeah, that was my thought. My thought is like, why the only reason you wouldn't show more is you're just like, okay, well, wait until she meets a bunch of people and gets a bunch of fighting styles and can do this, that, and the third. Like, we're only going to give you a taste of this and that. Like, and then I think the fight between her and Scarlet on the bridge would have been longer if Scarlet was her target. Remember, she was after those vials because she stopped fighting her. It was just like, oh, let me go grab these vials. And it was just more like, I need to get you out of the way so I can grab these vials. So I think that would have been a longer fight. But it seemed like Taskmaster was doing more just let me shut you down and get these vials. And then I can go because that's the mission. So yeah. And it was just to show her first time where it was just usually you see a fight like that, somebody gets beat down, but this is what happens when you fighting somebody who can do everything that you can do within the first 10 seconds of being in contact with you. They already know what you're going to do. So it was this very much feeling of, oh, Scarlet's usual tricks are not going to work for this.
Right.
She needs to figure something else out. Maybe it's a good thing she's not the target because she would not have been able to put together an arsenal that quick. I mean, she was going to the gas station for crying out loud and got bombarded. So she was barely prepared. But yeah, that's why I think that fight was so short. But I think we do have a future with Taskmaster. I think she's definitely going to pop back up for sure and be a key asset in something. Do you think that Natasha Romanoff eventually ended up going blonde to honor her sister?
Well, she was going to do that anyways. If you saw at the beginning, she had, when she was watching, I believe it was Dr. No.
Yeah. That's the same. That's the same thing Kayla said, but I'm like, well, even subconsciously, the decision to just go full blonde when in her youth she was putting different colors and she natural red, but here's this little sister that she kind of had that was blonde. It's blonde's always kind of cool. I could go that route. Yeah, just a note I kind of thought out, could be, could not be. I just thought it was neat. Maybe one of those things where if I ask Kevin Feige, he'll be like, yes, Absolutely.
Yeah,
Because
kinda
you
like
want
Peter
to believe
Parker.
that.
Yeah. That was Spider-Man that Iron Man rescued in Iron Man 2, right?
Yes.
The one wearing the Iron Man helmet?
Yes.
And he went,
Yes,
yes.
it is. Yeah. Right. Yes, it was.
I think
You got it.
I believe his initial reaction was, sure.
Right. I do believe that's
Yeah.
what it was. Sure. Yeah, sure. Yep. I have a note that says Clint Barton gets mentioned early, and I think it's really important to note that when Valentina gives Yelena the mission, and it's like, hey, you have to go after Barton. You have to remember, she's already heard these stories about, Barton and I, were hung out here for 2 days, and Barton and I were in Budapest together, and Barton. So she already has this thing of like, well, I thought Barton and my sister were cool. You trying to tell me he killed her or he's responsible for her death? So that's going to be an interesting little thing where it's like, my sister always told me this and that and blah, 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 how could you blah, 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 blah. So I think that was really neat to throw that in.
Right.
The fight pose, like, yeah, you're such a poser. Why do you do this thing?
Mm-hmm.
And I love when she does it and she's like, it's disgusting.
Yeah, it's disgusting, yeah.
When she invites her, when she's like, you're not going to give me a hero speech, are you? And she's like, no, more like an invitation. And what, you want to go kill Dravo and start the Red Room? She's like, yeah. She goes, could be fun. There's that callback where right before she puts the thing into the engine, she's like, this was fun. And then put the,
Yes.
I thought that, I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. I didn't catch that the first time. The whole arm wrestling scene is fantastic. Your boy sits down. He's just like, what year was this? I don't know, 84, 85? Captain America was still in the ice then. Are you calling me a liar?
Right.
And even the dude stops tattooing him all the shit. Like, nobody says anything. And then my man breaks his wrist on the table, bruh. And the whole thing where he's
that
just
dude
like,
was freaking huge.
No. He thought he was going to beat me. That dude was huge, man. Good Lord, though. Lord. And that's right at the point where I said David Harbour almost takes this movie just because, like, from that scene on, like, he just, every scene he's in, he just fucking shines, man.
Oh, yeah.
He shows up so well in this movie.
Yeah.
He shows up better than he did in No Sudden Move. I'm not knocking that performance, but I'm just like, that was funny in itself. But, like, watching this, I was like, David Harbour turned up to another level. Like, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
In this
Well,
movie.
you got to do some character acting as opposed to just, there's not much character acting in No Sudden Move when it comes to his character. It's
Right. It's pretty straightforward.
Family man. I got shit I got to do. I'm not much
Punching
of a
you
fighter.
now. This is a punch.
I'm gonna punch you. This is a punch. I'm punching you now.
And then I liked it. Is it supposed to be a reference to Rocky? When he's just like, I want to break something. He's like, I must break
Oh, I don't know.
you. Because he's just like, I want to break something. Turns out there's something you can break. And I was like, I wonder if that's a fucking shout out to Rocky, dude. Because he's like, I must break you. I wonder if that's a Russian thing. What else do I have? Oh, the very first time that she opens, when the very first time they see Melina and she's on the pig farm and she opens up that side door, she's like, no funny business. She's like, I'm putting my weapon away. You can see the face swapping technology right there in the back. And later I was like, oh, look at that. That's something they're showing you, like, hey, here's something that's kind of in the screen that you're not really going to see right away, but it's important. We promise.
Now, first time you watched it, did you figure out that
Not at all.
she was switched? I didn't either.
Totally surprised.
So when it finally happened, I went, oh, of course,
Yeah.
of course, because they've done that already
It was in
Winter Soldier.
Yeah, it's in Winter Soldier. Yeah.
Right. So when that happened, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Right. I'm sitting there and like, oh yeah, I forgot that's a thing she can do. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I have the whole don't slouch scene because I just thought that, again,
hilarious.
I thought that just because I was talking to Kayla and I was just like, this is one of my favorite scenes in the entire movie, just because it's that whole thing where I was like, it goes down to those, like, to the Red Guardian and Melina. Alexei, that's his character now. Alexei. It goes down to those two where it's like, yeah, they were undercover, but like, kids will grow on you, man. So like, you can't spend 3 some odd years around like those two girls. One who, yeah, she knew, but of course the little one who didn't, like, and not feel this certain, like, when you fall into this family role, like, you're still gonna have, like, you still realize, like, these are still 2 young women that are gonna become something later. Like, the least we could do is teach them basic life, at least keep this whole family thing. And this is what a family do. So when and it's funny because at the table, she has this moment where she knows, she's just like, all right, now let's get down to business. And she's like, don't, Natasha, don't slouch. And even though she knows it's not her mom, she still sits back. She's like, I don't slouch. Like,
Right.
So she's listen to your mother. Stand up, up, up. And she's like that. And she's like, what do you need to eat? I don't want it. Oh. They just
Takes
start
a
having,
shot
like,
of vodka. Yeah.
this little family thing at the table. And I'm like, this is really funny. This is really.
Not only sibling bickering, but you got the family bickering as well, which is, yeah.
He's you know, I just got out of prison. I have a lot of energy. Don't do that. I like the I don't know if this is connected at all, but it for some reason I felt like it was when Melena's dealing with the pigs, and every time she dismisses them, she tells them, go back home where it's safe. I thought that it was cool where at the end of the film, when she picks up the jet, they show a tree that has fireflies in it. And it just kind of made me think, like, wherever she kind of ended up to take that, maybe it was like a feeling of being at home before she took off to go connect with her other family. So I thought that was really cool. Like I said, I don't know if that's connected, but that's something that, you know, another one of those things where it's like, if I went to Kevin Feige, I was like, is that connected? He'd be like, sure. Yeah.
Sure.
Yep. I like, shout out to Natasha Romanoff for just saying, first of all, for dropping her classic, like, thank you for your cooperation. And then just breaks her own nose on the damn desk. Like, yo, savage. Like, I know some people, like, if you straight up told them, like, oh yeah, if you can easily defeat this thing, you just have to fucking break your own nose. But some people will go, all right, what's the next thing I can do?
Right.
Can I just use like nose plugs? She's like, can I hold my breath? Like,
Right. I like
help.
how she was like literally egging him on so that way he could do it. But you got this smile on her face, and you're thinking that she's just trying to egg him on because why not? The only way that she can get to him is by talking shit and really just digging into him. But no, she was literally trying to get him to break her nose. So that way, at that point, oh, no pheromones. Now I can kick your ass.
Yeah, that's why she's sitting up there. She's just like, you're so weak. She's like, I thought you could hit. Like,
Yes.
Like, what the hell?
Right.
Like,
Going back to when they first met, their sisters back up again at the house, the very much Born Identity style fight
yeah.
that they end up having.
Yeah, very good comparison.
You know, Yelena grabs a knife and Natasha grabs a stapler, you know, like one of those staplers for walls, you know, just a nice long one. So that just immediately made me go, okay, you know, somebody grabbing a knife and somebody grabbing a pencil. Or grabbing a magazine and rolling it up to fight somebody with, that type of thing. To the point where they're both on the ground and choking each other out with the same frickin'
I mean, just that move, how Yelena is in this hole, decides to slam her against the wall. In both the same instance, Scarlett Johansson takes the hit on the wall, but has the foresight to realize, I'm going to snatch this fucking curtain off the wall and choke this bitch, though. And we're going to stop this shit. Like, and does it in a fluid motion, like, and just rips the whole thing down, starts to tie her up, and then gets her on the ground. And she's the one that calls the truce, because she's like, okay, this is dumb.
Right. She also realized who she was fighting at that point. Like, oh shit.
Well, that was great too. She's like, "Can we talk like grown-ups?" And she's just like, "Is that what we are?" And they have this fight.
It's too good.
And then, like, I put Black Widow moment, and in parentheses, I put skydiving. Man, look, she got her flying moment. Because I feel like at a certain point, we've seen every Marvel character have their own singular, slow down superhero moment where it was all about them. Except for Black Widow. She's had her moments in the hallway where she's like fighting and doing all that, and like they've showcased her doing a lot of that, and she can head scissor with the best of them. But this was her, like, when she dives after her sister, puts the thing on, slides on a satellite still in air. Here's Black Widow's big superhero moment, and it's awesome. It's a really good one for her movie. I thought it was really well done. I was freaking blown away. I was like, this is really cool. You know, we see Iron Man flying through the air all the time, putting people together and saving them. You know, fucking Cap is always jumping out of a plane, you know, doing something. You know, Ant-Man's, you know, growing big, growing tall. Like, everybody's done these things that are just, you feel like they're just over the top. And like, she finally had her over the top crazy moment. And so much so that when I saw her slide off the satellite and Taskmaster does, and they go flying, I instantly was going to be like, well, that seems a bit over the top. And I stopped myself. I was like, well, good. This is good. She's supposed to have an over the top moment. It's a Marvel movie. And I was like, I'm like, instantly this works. So I thought that was
I
really
would say
neat.
the one over-the-top moment that she had was when she gets launched off of Cap's shield in Avengers and then grabs onto the hovercraft and then digs her knives into the back of the person driving it and then uses him to control it and then does like a backflip somersault onto the top of the building at the very last minute in order to shut down the portal. So that's the only over-the-top moment that she really had throughout the entire series.
And even then I would say that's beginning to be predicated off the fact that she gets a huge boost from Cap. Like she's like, he's like, I'm going to take my super soldier strength and I'm going to throw you up in the air and I'm going to trust you can do you on your own. But this is that moment where she sees her sister go over and she just grabs a parachute. She's like, nope. Like, she doesn't even put it on her. She just goes and jumps. In fact, she falls through the fucking helicopter and then has to ride herself going through the thing. I'm just like, yo, this is dope.
Mm-hmm. And it was definitely a hero moment because she did it without thought of how am I going to survive this? Yes, she grabs onto her sister. And
then instantly lets go when she sees Taskmaster coming.
But the moment that she sees...
go do...
Yeah, she's like, okay, bye.
Yeah.
Got to do this. Not knowing if Taskmaster has a chute, not knowing if she can ride down with that, she was just, at this point, you live. So it was a nice little sacrifice moment. I did dig that the vest was the same vest that she was wearing in
that whole conversation
in Infinity War.
This is the first piece of clothes I ever bought for myself. You like it?
Uh-huh.
But it has all these pockets.
Yeah, it seems it's very what is that? Army surplus. It's
whatever. Yeah. And then Kayla really enjoyed that moment. Kayla, she's like, "Can we pause it?" And she's like, that's a true sister moment. She's like, she's like, you have, that was like, not only a sister moment, but I think a truly like younger sibling to older sibling moment where like all you want is to impress your older sibling with like, look what I did. Like, this is cool, right? And all you want them to say is like, yeah, that's cool. And and her reaction is like, yes, I knew you liked it.
Yes.
Like, yes.
About to say that. Just the reaction of, no, it is pretty cool. And she's like, I knew it. I knew that you liked it.
Yeah.
It's like, I just...
Like, well, you should take this. It has so many pockets.
Right.
Yeah, no, she's rocking the vest. And I like how your boy was just like, how he got the jet. And he's like, see what I can get you with a little bit of time and money? Because they're bitching to him about the helicopter. And he's like, well, I'm not made of jets. Like, you can't just call me out the blue and be like, I want a jet. Like, this is what I have.
The amount of time and money that I was able to, to get.
And they're sitting there bitching at him. She's like, is this what you got? And he's like, oh, how's the flat you've been getting for the last few months and shit? Like, and she's like, well, you did give me a generator that died. He's like, you too? Like, what the both of you? Like, what the fuck?
Oh, he's so sensitive. I see why you keep him around. Yeah. Good writing overall, too. Just really well done. Soundtrack was done by...
Very interesting version of Smells Like Teen Spirit.
That beginning one, yes.
I didn't even catch it till the second time through the chorus, and I was like, wait a minute. I know this song. Like, this is... Okay. This is neat.
It's not even in the soundtrack.
I wonder why they chose that. And again, I have to look over the lyrics, because I wonder why they chose that song.
When it started, though, I immediately went, oh, we've moved from trailers to beginning of movies now for slowed down versions of rock songs.
All right. I just showed my boy the trailer for the Batman.
Oh, yes. But the soundtrack was done by Lorne, probably mess up his last name, Lorne Balfe, or I think it's Balfe, Balfe. He did soundtracks that we would both enjoy. He did the soundtrack for Assassin's Creed Revelations.
Well, shit, look at that.
All of the, the sweeping emotional stuff that you hear in Revelations is Lorne.
Nice.
And he also did the full soundtrack for Assassin's Creed 3.
Oh, boy.
And even the DLC that came out of King George. He did all that too. So he's done well. And to have somebody who's done the Assassin's Creed soundtracks now finally move up to feature film. I can't wait to see what else he can do because I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good soundtrack.
I can't remember what the movie soundtrack sounded like. Of course, I can't really remember the movie in general, but
there was a movie.
Where is Michael Fassbender? I haven't seen him in a minute. Is he okay? Is he working? Is he doing stage stuff? What happened to Fassbender?
He got paid.
Seemed like he was just on this kind of fast track to being like a star, and then it seemed like after the last time he was Magneto, people went, Is he in the? If he, so this will probably just be shocking to most everyone. I still have not seen the Phoenix movie, the one where
The Dark Phoenix.
Yeah, I still haven't seen it. Is he in that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it seems like
Yeah.
it just seems like ever since that movie, unless you're Jennifer Lawrence, like nobody's really talking about you right now. I mean, Sansa's about to do something. The young lady who plays, I forget her name, but she was Sansa in Game of Thrones. She's about to do something because, like, but Jennifer Lawrence will always have work. But I feel like everybody else, it hasn't really, things have really kind of slowed down a bit. I haven't really heard too much.
Right.
Well, it doesn't matter because we're going to say Black Widow, I think, all in all, because we're talking about soundtracks. I think, all in all, we thought it was a good send-off more than anything. I think and in fact, I think how enjoyable is the movie? We're sitting there watching it with Kayla. She's, one of the biggest Black Widow fans you'll meet. And the movie was so good that when it came to the end credit scene, it was that thing where it's like, oh yeah, that's right. She's dead.
Yes.
She got this whole thing where she's flying away, she's about to go kitch cap and all that. And like the movie ends on that. And she's like, that was a good movie. And then like they show the grave and she's like, well, she forgot. She literally was, she goes, oh, that must be like a fake grave. Cause I was like, no, honey, remember, this is back to real time now. Black Widow's dead. And she's like, oh, right. And just see that realization come back over. It's like, well, how we know the movie was good. But I think we'll see Scarlet again at some point.
Right. Apparently, Kevin Feige was super nervous when he first told Scarlet about the fact that her character was going to die in Endgame.
I read that article. I saw that little thing. Yeah. So much like he called her and said the opening line was something like, well, we knew that there were going to have to be sacrifices made.
Right. And you could just see like the sweat coming off of somebody's forehead while saying that, like, please don't hate me, but so when she said that, when she read or was told the overall reason, it seemed like her character. So it was a good enough story.
She said it seemed like something that Nat would do, especially she there with probably if things had gone a certain way in her life, probably the dude she might have been with and shit. I mean, you know what I mean? In a roundabout way. As best of a stable male relationship that she had built up to at that point, that wasn't like, built up to that point because the relationship with Cap and Banner came later. So, Hawkeye was the first person that kind of knew her before everybody else did and whatnot. So,
right.
Yeah, if it comes down to between you and that guy, there's no way she's going to, he has a wife and kids in this life that she can't have to the level that he had it at that point. And she's like, yeah, man, go do your thing.
Yeah.
I got this. I think that's one thing I thought that was one thing that was really cool when, Milena turns to her. She's like, you going to be okay? And she's like, I got this. And she's like, I know. It's just like, just that. Somebody's cutting onions.
Right.
Don't make me cry. Fuck you.
It's just allergies, man. It's just allergies. I just, cat hair and shit. Fuck.
I say everybody should go watch Black Widow. Don't listen to Deacon Frost. You don't need to feel embarrassed. It is a good film. It's good connective tissue. It has a good end credit scene that's going to be more connective tissue to what's happening. And I tell you what, Red Guardian fought Taskmaster right there at the end. So, let's just say he got his battle with Cap. It's the closest thing he's going to get to fighting Captain America. So there you go. Unless he ever goes up against unless he actually goes up against Mackie at one point,
Right.
Which, man, Mackie's not a super soldier, so I don't know. Dang. Well, neither was Taskmaster, but Taskmaster also just knew all the moves. So we'll see.
You know who is a super soldier? U.S. agent.
I know.
So if you
freaking psycho,
he might actually have his chance of actually fighting a version of Captain America that is a super soldier. Because if he was going to go up against Falcon, he could definitely break Falcon.
He's gonna kill him. Easy.
Yeah. So to go up.
Okay, I'll give my boy a little more. It won't be easy, but I think he's gonna win that fight. Yeah, yeah. Might not be easy, but it won't be fun. You better keep a distance. That's all I'll say. Mm-hmm. So all in all, I enjoyed Black Widow a lot. Well done.
I did too.
I would have, if this was normal time, I would have been super happy to see this in a theater, but we're not in normal time yet. So Yeah,
I was thinking about
enjoyed
doing
being
it.
able to watch it. I enjoyed also being able to watch it 2 times inside of 24 hours. So that was cool.
Right. And because of Disney Plus, we can still keep watching it because we paid for it, as opposed to just seeing it once and coming home and going, well, shit, I got to pay another $15 to go and see that again. Okay, no, you get to watch it as many times as you want. So I like this whole thing that they're doing on Disney Plus, but I don't foresee it lasting long.
No, I mean, speaking of which, because that's a perfect segue going into our last little roundabout segment for the day, folks. We're going to talk about there's more to come. I mean, we talked about the year of Marvel. We talked about how it was kind of building up. Now we're talking about where it's going. One thing that I think they're not going to do this for is I think Shang-Chi, I think we're going to have to bite the bullet and actually go to theater and have to watch that, because I don't think they're going to do what they did for Black Widow, at least not right away. Which
I will say,
by the time Shang-Chi comes out, I'll probably be willing to sit in the back of a theater. I definitely will go to slow time. I'm trying to catch a matinee so I can sit in the back. When's the first showing? Okay, at 11? Good. I'll be good. Yeah, nobody's going to that one. Good.
Dude, we are the matinee review, so we might as well just do it every time. First showing, first day. Don't have to do the midnight showing, because that's where everybody's going to be, and that's where everybody fucking applauds the entire time. You have nothing but people going, woo, and applauding. You can't hear what the hell that person just said because, hey, look, that person came on screen. Woo! But there was an important line. You just missed it.
Right.
So, yeah, definitely a matinee is the way to go. We can't be called the matinee review and go see a 10 o'clock showing at night. I will want to see Shang-Chi, and I'll say this. I wish I could have seen this one, Black Widow, in the theaters. As much as I enjoyed watching it at home, you're not getting the same sound. You're not getting the same giant screen. There's something about being in a theater, too, where you don't have the option of pausing it. So being able to force yourself to watch every single second and not miss a single thing because you got nothing else to do. I'm all for going and seeing Shang-Chi.
Then there's going to be, we have Hawkeye. Is that going to be Hawkeye or the Eternals next?
Well, we're gonna get Shang-Chi in September, and we're getting What If in August. So I'm thinking between September and November is kind of the perfect time to release your Hawkeye show, because November's Eternals, and right after Eternals in December is Spider-Man: No Way Home. So you're definitely going to want to have that little bit of filler in between. Just even maybe you don't want to have that filler in between. I don't know if people are going to get burnt out on Marvel. I'm certainly not. But to have this much and go, okay, well, you got to watch a show now. Now you got to go to the movies. Now you got to watch the show. Now go back to the movies. Some people might not enjoy that. Some people might just say, fuck it, I'm just going to watch all the movies and I'll see the shows whenever I can.
Which I think is fine. I'm one of those people, it's like, I totally understand that. I get that. But also, don't be surprised when you end up going to the movies and like there's maybe some inside jokes you don't get, or maybe you feel like you missed certain things. And you're like, well, how did we get here? Well, have you been watching the shows? It's like, no. It's like, well,
that's why.
Yeah. then you're gonna have some questions. Mm-hmm. It's just as simple as that. And then because they've made it to where you don't have to watch the shows. It's just that when you watch the movies, you're just gonna have some questions about how certain things came to be. And I'm pretty sure they'll do their best to wrap it up super quick for people in the movies. There's always this kind of mention, like, you know, like that thing that happened in New York, or you remember that weird thing that years ago. You remember the blah blah blah. Like, somebody always says something to where it could get you quickly caught up, but, like, you're sitting there for a good 15, 20 minutes going, so, wait, what happened?
Right.
How we get here? And that's what's going to be the drawback from not watching the shows. But, well, I mean, I'm not going to get burnt out of it, for sure.
The people that haven't watched Falcon and Winter Soldier, but are going to go and see Black Widow, are not going to know who that, I'm going to try it. It's, is it Contessa Valentina Contessa de Legrafontaine, something around there.
I don't know. You're trying to win some kind of points.
I'm just trying to figure out her name. I'm terrible with names all of a sudden. So just being able to do that, I couldn't even remember what's her name? Oh yeah, Florence Pugh. Got to do some better notes next time. Like I said, episode 2, way better than episode 1.
But other than that, I think Marvel's looks like they're going to be, they're going to be all right. They have a lot of content ready to go. And, we're still not even into the era of, oh, hey, everybody, we're finally going to do X-Men our way. Like, we're not even getting into that whole thing yet. So this is going to be
Well,
It's exciting.
quickly before we wrap things up,
Yeah.
people are wondering if Hugh Jackman's going to be coming back because he recently put up on his either Instagram or Twitter a very cryptic post that had a photo of a painting that was done for him by an artist of Wolverine's arm with the claws coming out, and then next to it was a picture of Hugh Jackman and Kevin Feige back when they took a picture at one of the Comic-Cons.
I see it here. Hugh Jackman teases his return as Wolverine in the MCU.
Or does he? But people are now going, well, this must mean he's back because he put up a picture of him with Kevin Feige, and
I mean, it would make people's day, man. It would make people's day.
it would.
As they say in the rap battle, do it for the culture. Do it for the culture. That's what needs to happen.
Definitely.
Don't we have a really cool place that people can let us know if they have suggestions there, Justin?
Yeah.
What would that be?
For anybody who wants to be able to contact us and tell us how good of a job we're doing, or have any suggestions of things we can do, you can contact us at thematineereview@gmail.com. All one word, The Matinee Review, just like the title of the show.
Really simple.
Yes.
We're keeping it
Really simple.
We've given up trying to be really, really clever. We're saving that for the talk. And when it comes to names and stuff, it's just like, yeah, we're just gonna real simple, real professional.
Yeah. No, I'll go complicated when it comes to my own.
You're
email,
right.
so they can contact me personally, and then you can go complicated on yours. But until then, we'll just do a group email that they could just send it to. So if they want to just send something to you, same email. They want to send something to me, same email.
Same email.
So it's simple.
Perfect.
So yes, the matinee review at gmail.com. Most likely are going to be other things. We're going to set up a Facebook and set up a Twitter.
Twitter and IG. We do hit as the kids say. We hit us on the gram. All that, or whatever the cool kids say now. I've never been one of them. So
Back in my day,
Right.
the grams, if you're going to hit me with the gram, I'd get hit in the head with a little bit of weed. That's what I used to have.
yes,
My days.
back in the
were-
day, if you were going to hit me with a gram, it better come with a bit of Hershey and a marshmallow. I want some more of that.
You're going to go even further back, a gram would be a song. Yes.
I like a singing gram. Sometimes they came to your door.
Gram.
Yeah, sometimes they came to your door. A candy gram. Oh, candy gram for mango. Candy gram for mango.
Thinking of Clue right now.
I am your singing telegram.
Yes.
She died doing what she loved. What do we?
Seething flames coming out of the side of my flames
What are we getting
coming
into?
out of the side of my head.
What are we getting into? Looks like next week we're going to get into. We have the final episode of Loki, so we're going to be able to finally do a nice
All Loki.
Loki breakdown, and that's going to be phenomenal.
That's why we
'cause that
didn't
gives
mention
me-
much of it today.
That gives me a chance to watch the entire run all this week in leading up to the final show again, and then take detailed notes about what I really want to rant about. And
That's right.
I'm looking forward to that, and I think that is going to be a show for this week.
That's right.
I think that went really well.
It was a short one.
I think I'm going to take the email address we provided. I think I'm going to email us some suggestions, but I also just want to email us how good of a job we're doing. I think that went really well.
Good. I mean, you can always just text me. But yes, thank you, anybody and everybody, if anybody and anybody is actually listening.
They're there. I can feel them. They're there.
You can feel them. It's like the force.
They're there.
Yes.
Yep.
All right.
We're all connected through the forest. They're there.
They're there.
Thanks, y'all.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Have a good one, and next week we will talk Loki.
All right, I'm Akili.
I am Justin.
All right, y'all. Y'all be safe. Love each other.
Talk to you soon.
Peace.